Well, welcome to St Albans Thought for the Day on this Monday morning. As you can tell, I'm not Terry. You might have been expecting Terry, but Terry's away on holiday for the week and out of internet connection at whatever retreat he finds up in the northeast. Derek too is away this week, but in a fit of efficiency he's pre-recorded a thought for Wednesday, and you'll be able to listen to that in a couple of days' time. So you've got me this week, and I thought that as we're in this time between Ascension and Pentecost, a time when we remember the disciples waiting for Jesus. He'd disappeared, he'd been taken from their eyes up into heaven. He'd promised that they'd receive power, but they hadn't yet received it, and he told them to wait. And it made me think that we're not very good at waiting, are we? Especially not at being still and waiting. If we're waiting in a traffic jam, we're not very good at that anyway, but we're particularly bad if the car in front doesn't move. If the car one ahead moves and the gap opens up and the car ahead of us doesn't move, we're immediately frustrated. We struggle with being still. When we want to brake, many people, what they do, they book up and they go off to an airport. And I can't think of anything less stressful than being in an airport. For 10 years or so I flew across to the States for work once a month. I'm just glad I've barely seen an airport since I left that job. But they go to an airport and they go through all the struggle of checking in and checking in the baggage and going through the scanners. And they finally get on the plane. They get off the other end, go through the same thing again there. They have their few days in the sun, and then they go through it all over again. And finally they get back, finally they land, they're back in this country, they land at Heathrow and they get a 6-hour wait just to get through customs immigration. A nightmare. I can't imagine anything less stressful. But to be honest, I'm planning not quite that, but I'm planning to drive halfway across the country for my holiday this year. Drive halfway across the country for those few days on a sailing boat on the Norfolk Broads. There is a wonderful stillness about being on a boat with no engine, moving along, drifting along, either with the sails up or with a gentle quant pole, just pushing the boat along through past the reeds, through the wildlife in the silence and the stillness. But I'm going to drive quite a long way to go there to do it. And as I thought about holidays, why do we rest? And I realised I think I've sometimes got this wrong. I've said, and there's something in this, I've said that biblical rest is refreshment, equipping for work, and that the idea that we work in order to get a rest, that we do all this work so that we can have that dream holiday, is a bit flawed. Now again, I probably want to say there's something in that. But I was reflecting these last few days that at the end of the creation account, at the very beginning of the Bible, we get this climax of creation, the light and dark, the land and sea, the birds and the fish, and finally the culmination of creation, the climax of creation of human beings, people in God's image. But that's only day 6. What happens on day 7? God rested. And I'm sure it wasn't because God was tired, but actually there's something in that rest is actually the goal of all this. Rest, harmony, peace. See it again at the end of the Bible. The book of Revelation has a series of sevens that kind of tell and retell the future of the world, really, in different vivid picture language. And the first of those goes through 7 seals, and the seals, much like the story of creation, build up. There's more and more conflict. Evil is conquered and dealt with. And when the Lamb who's on the throne, opened the 7th seal, there was silence in heaven for half an hour. I think both of these are saying, from both the beginning and the end of the Bible, that silence, peace, true peace, shalom, that deep inner peace is actually the goal. That is what we were made for. And that one day all striving, all struggles will cease, and we'll finally know peace. And that when we can find moments of stillness and silence, we do get a taste of heaven. But how do we do that in our busy lives? I mean, I'm recording this now knowing that in a few minutes I need to be somewhere else. How do we find that stillness in this busy world? We're not yet in heaven, but how do we get that taste? Well, right in the middle of the Bible, in that middle point that we are here, not beyond, after creation, before that final peace in heaven. And right in the middle of the Bible is the book of Psalms. And one of the most famous psalms is a psalm that we often associate with kind of military thinking. God is our strength and refuge, ever-present hope in trouble. It goes to the Dam Busters March. We sing it at Remembrance, on Remembrance Day, as we remember people lost in wars. But near the end of Psalm 46 is that amazing line. Be still, God says. He says, be still and know that I am God. We can find true stillness. We can find that taste of heaven if we simply remember and know that He is God. We find it not in reading another book, not in experiencing the right to worship song, although those things may help, not in being with friends and family, although that is a real blessing. We find it in simply knowing that He is God. I've been tempted, while I was thinking about stillness, to go and record this up in the St Chad's Chapel. But I think I wanted to say that no, that stillness, that silence, that peace can be found wherever we are. We don't need to have a beautiful chapel, although again that can help. But wherever we are, may you today find a moment to be still and know that God is God, that you are His child, and that He loves you. And in that stillness, may you find a taste of heaven. God bless, and I'll talk again tomorrow.